So to the next category, which will be the third pick for both Toby and Rafa, the Wonderkid. Yeah, the Wonderkid. This one is going to be juicy. I can already tell. So Toby, take us away.
So I loved how we included the question mark on Wonderkid because like free agent as a Wonderkid is a bit
Yes, it's very.
but like I couldn't really. First of all, I had to do like some kind of analysis. I was like, okay, let me look at these guys. Let me look at the youngsters that are on there. Is there anybody that's like a superstar young name that we know about that's like, for some crazy reason he's a free agent? I was thinking of, I don't know if you guys know this guy that used to play with Celtic, and I think he went to Saudi for a bit. Jota,
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
Portuguese.
I
I
remember the
was
guy.
thinking someone like him is who I'm going to be looking for on the list to pick as my wonder kid. But I'm going through these names. I'm going through them. I'm like, I don't know anybody here, you know.
mm,
So I'm like, let me switch the tactic and see if there's anybody here that actually like gives me the vibe of a wonder kid. So who I picked used to be a wonder kid, but he's definitely no longer a wonder kid. I won't be surprised if Rafa has the same pick as well. I went for Luka Jovic because like at a certain point he was supposed to be that number nine that was supposed to change the world. Free,
Yeah,
free going to Real Madrid. Luka Jovic was the guy that everybody was on. He was supposed to be that next Shevchenko kind of guy, that next 25 goal scorer season kind of guy for Madrid.
mm,
We looked at him like, oh, post Ronaldo, Luka Jovic would be the striker, the number nine for Madrid that would change everything for them. But now that I look at it, like, post that whole experience of him going to Madrid and trying, back and forth between multiple clubs to try and find his way, I think the difficult thing was that nobody decided to give him multiple seasons within their setup to give him a time to like to balance. Because I actually pulled up his like his history, and prior to like joining Madrid, he was ballooning between clubs. He would play a few seasons at Benfica, play at Eintracht Frankfurt, back to Benfica, then go to Madrid, then Frankfurt, then Madrid, then Frankfurt, then Fiorentina, then AC Milan. And I don't think in any of these clubs he spent more than 2 seasons. So I think that was a really big thing that probably hindered his development.
mm,
And I think the thing that kind of messed it up for him is because of such large expectation, everybody wanted to see him hit the ground running. But sometimes you have to take a step back and stay at your level. I think someone that has a similar kind of format, and I'm probably wrong. I'm probably just conflicting the ideas because it's very recent. Is like looking at someone like Victor Gyökeres, who was not a big like, he wasn't a wonder kid kind of guy.
mm,
But at the same
mm,
time, when he went to Brighton, I didn't know of him then, but apparently they had expectations of him then, and he
yeah,
didn't pop as expected, right? Jokic went to Madrid, but didn't pop there the way he did at Frankfurt and Benfica, right? So I'm thinking at that point in time, what moves did they do? You know, Gyökeres decided to take a step back and go play in the championship, develop himself within Coventry, and then go to Sporting, which is like, okay, I'm gonna go down and build my way back up to this level. Whereas Jovic did the opposite thing and then went to the Madrid route, but instead of taking a step down, he decided to do loans, became a loan player that kept getting loaned from place to place. And the thing about being a loan player nowadays is that maybe back then or a couple years ago, those loan moves will give you a good season to score a lot of goals and you can come back and continue. But I think nowadays, once they loan you once, they're going to loan you twice and they're going to loan you three times so they can sell you. I fear that unless you like really blow and make it happen that first year on loan, you're going to become a loan player for that club and they're just going to keep loaning you out so they can sell you. And that doesn't help you develop.
hmm,
I think at some point you have to take
yeah,
control of your career and be like, nah, you know what? All these loans aren't good for me. Sell me somewhere that I can play for 2, 3 years and I can build my way back up. And I think that's probably, where Jovic is in his career. He's 27, so it's not over. He's the same age as Gyökeres. But obviously they're in different positions at the moment. I think what Jovic needs to do is pick a club that's gonna like give him opportunity that he can actually build himself back up and work towards that level. Um, I don't know if championship might be an insult to his character or the way he feels. I don't know what level he sees himself at, but he's definitely going to need to take some steps back to build back up.
mm, for sure. Great,
yeah,
great pick, right?
yeah,
Talking about Jovic.
definitely.
before we get to Rafa, I just think that Luka Jovic made the wrong decision by going to Madrid. He went to Madrid at a point where Benzema then became the main man for Madrid, and Benzema was ready to step up and ball out, and that's what
Yeah,
Benzema did
that's
immediately Ronaldo left. And obviously, Bill was struggling with injury. That same season that Jovic joined Madrid, I think Bill went. Or Bill was either coming back on loan from Spurs, or he was just about to go to Spurs on loan. It was the same issue with James Rodriguez. He just got back to Madrid from his loan spell, from his 2-year loan spell from Bayern Munich. I think that Luka Jovic should have remained in the Bundesliga, and even if he
Yeah,
was going to leave the Bundesliga, I think he should have gone to a team where he was going to be guaranteed to be the main starter, main striker. And I mean, it's hard to say no to Real Madrid, but hey, that's what happened, and he's paid the price. But hopefully, he can find his mojo again. Rafa, who's your wonder kid?
yeah. I was gonna say Jovic, but I can't because it's we can't just use the same person. Jovic, like what he was saying, he said everything. Jovic when he was at Frankfurt was banging every kind of goal you want to think of,
Mm.
every type, the volley, all the type, and he was cold. I don't know what happened. I don't, if someone had told you like Jovic will be like this, like in the last 4 years, you wouldn't even believe it. But it so happens he had like the highest stocks, would I say, back then 4 years ago when you're talking about Wonder Kids, yeah, and you could still put that one out for him. But I don't know. I'm having a decision if I should pick. Was my favorite pick I was gonna put was gonna be like DCL. But I think if I should mention like a DCL now, Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Wonder Kid. I don't know if that goes Dominic Calvert-Lewin or a
Yeah,
Tomiyasu.
because kind of
nah,
similar situation
DCL,
as
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this year, yeah, because this year at like if you go back 3 years ago, was he? Yeah, 3 years ago is even clear. 3 years ago at least, this year's market value and both what was around £100 million.
yeah,
Everton were not going to accept anything less than that, and that was how crazy DCL stocks were in the Premier League. They saw him as the next big thing. Like it was
next
always,
Harry Kane.
yeah, it's the next Harry Kane. Exactly, it was literally seen as the next Harry Kane. So either he was going to make a move to like a Man United or Chelsea or like any of the big teams or Arsenal or anyone, but it just never happened. Then I think the just like what we were discussing in the beginning, how the number of football and the number of games that's affecting all the footballers